Hey there nation, welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and welcome to another edition of Mordheim-Mondays, where we showcase Mordheim Battle Reports every Monday during our Fantasy Wargaming weeks with our series Empire in Flames. And this is Battle Report number 23. It is a Stagecoach ambush, and it's another continuation of our Empire in Flames Mordheim campaign. This scenario is fought between my two friends Sister Serial as well as Lady Domina. Sister Serial is playing the Lords of Azure Skies, which is a quote-unquote Brothers of Sigmar warband, while Lady Dom is playing the Untamed Beasts, a Beastmen Raiders warband. So they'll be throwing it down in a Stagecoach ambush. So with that being said, let's get this battle report started. We're going to play some background music real quick and show you pictures of the warbands as well as their stats. If you want to see exactly what they're taking for this one, go ahead and pause and take a look at your own leisure. So with that being said, let's get this bat rep on a roll.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dying times here.
Alright, the scenario rules for this one is Stagecoach Ambush. The objectives for the defenders are trying to escape off the table with their stagecoach, and attackers trying to stop it. If the defender escapes, the defender wins. If the attacker routs the defender, then the attacker wins. For the experience points on this one 1 point of experience for all survivors of the scenario, as well as 1 bonus experience point for the winning warband leader. Plus, any heroes that put enemy out of actions also earn a point of experience for each enemy they put out of action. Plus, an additional bonus experience points for a hero who destroys the stagecoach, and plus 2 experience points for a hero who captures the stagecoach without destroying it, and of course, additional 2 experience points for defending leader if the stagecoach manages to escape. So with the scenario rules over, let's go and talk about deployment real quick as well as battle plans. Alright, so with the scenario rules over, let's talk about the battle plan real quick. As you can see, my friends are playing on a 4x4 table. Sister Serial's Lords of Azure Skies are located in the top upper right hand corner, and around the back there you can see they're being chased on this one as well. Now this scenario is actually kind of neat because you get to use a stagecoach, and Sister Serial is trying to escape to the bottom left hand corner along this road that is created by our terrain. As you can see, Lady Down has a couple of beastmen located up in the front of the trail to try to cut her off. At the same time, she's also being chased in the back there with some more Beastmen Raiders riding Screamers as niche. Now, the Screamers as niche are supposed to represent horses. Same thing with the Griffin creatures that the Stormcast Eternal guys are riding on. Those are all supposed to represent horses as well. After all, we're proxying the horses and the mounts for the Brothers of Sigmar in this one as well. Now, the battle plan on this one, I'm not really sure what the battle plan is because I'm just the arbitrator in this battle report. I'm just taking photos for the channel. I really don't know what the battle plan is, but if I had to guess, Lady Down plans on getting him stuck in a pincer attack by having guys at the front block the exit, at the same time having riders in the back charge through. And of course, Sister Serial is just going to try to drive through as quick as she can and try to escape. So with the battle plan over, let's go talk about deployment real quick. Alright, so let's talk about the plan for the Lords of Azure Skies, which is a Brothers of Sigmar warband. We're basically just a Sister Sigmar, but we're just changing it to males just because we only have male characters in this one. So first of all, we have the cart in the middle there, and riding the cart is the Lord Relictor. He is a Sigmarite Patriarch. He's also the leader of the warband as well. He's equipped with heavy armor, shield, helmet. He's got a sling. He's also armed with a Sigmarite Warhammer. He's also got the leader as well as a healing hands ability. Over to the left-hand side is the Retributor. In the back, the Retributor is a Brother Superior. He's armed with heavy armor, helmet, great weapon, as well as a sling. And on either side of the cart, we have the Liberator as well as the Prosecutor. They're both Brother Superiors. They're both armed with heavy armor, shields, helmets, slings, as well as Sigmarite Warhammer as well. And that pretty much makes a deployment for the Lords of Azure Skies. Alright, so in the back upper right corner we have the deployment for the Untamed Beasts. As you can see, they're mounted on Screamers as niche. Now the reason why they're mounted on Screamers as niche is because they're the miniatures that we had to represent the mounts. They're just going to pretend to be horses real quick. So stepping on the top there we have Gradan Blood-Eye. He's a Bestigor armed with a great weapon. In the middle is Varel Heart-Eater. He's a chieftain. He's also the leader of this warband. He's armed with Battle Axe Shield. He's also got the leader special ability. And right down below we have Sean Headclaimer, who's another Bestigor armed with a great weapon. Now in the back, on the top left, we have Cleft Skull, who's a Gore armed with a halberd. In the center is, what's her name? Thadra Skull Scryer. She's a shaman with a halberd, and she's got the spell Lure of Chaos, which can control people with her mind. And right below we have Cleft Jaw, another Gore armed with a halberd. In the middle of the deployment area on the left-hand side, seeking to cut off the escape of the Lords of Azure Sky, that is Ugla the Maw. He's a Centaur Corps armed with a halberd. He's got the Drunken, Forest Strider, as well as Stomp special rules. And right across the road from Ugla the Maw on the right-hand side is a henchman warband of Ungors, Kairos, and Shank. They're both armed with paired axes. They also got the lowest of the low ability as well. And that pretty much makes the deployment for the Untamed Beasts. So deployment over with, we go directly to the top of turn number 1, and both Lady Dominant and Sister Serial will roll for initiative to see which of them will be going first. Alright, that takes directly to the top of turn number 1 for the Brothers of Sigmar. We skip the recovery phase because it's not necessary, and this photo is taken after the movement phase. And surprisingly, my friend Sister Sarah didn't run her guys forward. All she really did, she just moved them up their normal mood allowance on their mounts. And the reason why is because she plans on doing some shooting during the shooting phase as well. So pretty much her entire warband moves up 8 inches because they're all riding horses at this point. So here's a close-up of Sister Serial's warband making way on their carts as well as the horses. They're about halfway through the distance on the road, only going normal moon allowance, that way they can shoot later on during the shooting phase. And unfortunately for Sister Serial, not much really happened in the shooting phase. She did manage to put a knocked out result on Kairos, so because that he is currently stunned, he goes face down, is currently on the ground bleeding out because he got hit in the head with a sling. But other than that, Sister Serial's shooting phase is pretty much uneventful for the most part, so things are not looking very good right now because she should have gotten away a lot farther than she actually did. So with the turn number 1 over with for the Brothers of Sigmar, we go directly to the bottom of turn number 1 for the Beastmen Raiders. So we go directly to the bottom of turn number 1 to the recovery phase for the Beastmen Raiders. As you can see, Kairos slips around with a stun result instead because he basically managed to survive his injury. So with the recovery phase over with, go directly to the movement phase. And in the move phase, as you can see in this photo, Lady Dominant decides to move up as quickly as she possibly can. The first thing she does, she charges forward with Ugla the Maw. Ugla the Maw, the center card, goes directly into the cart, finding the Lord Relictor in close combat. At the same time, the rest of her warband, they just kind of move up as quick as they can. She marches, she runs her pursuers on horseback. They move up 16 inches, getting dangerously close to the back of the caravan. At the same time, she also runs up Shanked as well, her Ungor Raider, to kind of cut them off in the front there. So here's a close-up of Ugla the Maw charging directly into the cart, getting ready to fight against the Lord Relictor and try to take over the stagecoach. And here's a close-up of Shank moving up as quickly as he can in order to start engaging some of the fighters from the Brothers of Sigmar. And here's a close-up of the rest of Lady Dominant's pursuers moving as quick as they can in order to try to catch the cart in a pincer attack as well. So with the move phase over with, we skip the shooting phase because there is no shooting in this army, and we go directly to the combat phase. And just like that in the combat phase, Ugla the Maw managed to take out the Lord Relictor in close combat. Managed to put an injury on him directly as well, makes him go to have action. Now luckily for the Lady Sister Serial, the Lord Relictor does make a full recovery, so no harm, no foul. But unfortunately, just did not work out in her favor in this case. My friend Sister Sarah, actually, when she created her warband, she actually made her warband very small. She only made it into 4 fighters total, because she was planning on just equipping them with heavy armor and shields and helmets and stuff like that to make them more survivable. Unfortunately for her, though, when she rolled her armor roll, though, she only rolled a 1, so because of that, she automatically failed. It kind of shows you the risk of trying to out-armor your guys. In Mordheim, you try to find a happy balance between equipment as well as fighters, and unfortunately, because she lost her 1 fighter, that automatically makes her vulnerable to rout tests, which is absolutely terrifying. And on that note, that takes directly to the top of turn number 2 for the Brothers of Sigmar. Luckily for Sister Serial, she did pass her panic check for her route test, so because that, her warband does stay on the ground. And so because that, she continues on with the rest of her movement phase. First thing she does, she charges in the Prosecutor into Shanked, who's down below, as well as the Liberator directly into Ugla the Maw. And at the same time, the Retributor dismounts his horse and climbs the back of the car so that way he can defend it and hopefully move on as well. And that pretty much makes up Sister Serial's move phase for this one. Alright, so here's a close-up of the Liberator getting ready and goes in close combat with Ugla the Maw. At the same time, we can see the Lord Relictor, the Retributor, taking his position on the back of the cart in order to defend it. And at the same time, here's a close-up of the Liberator charging directly into Shanked as well, Kairos, and getting ready to close combat with that character. Alright, so that takes directly to the combat phase. You can see in this photo, the Prosecutor had no problem whatsoever putting the curb stomp directly onto Ugla the Maw. Ugla the Maw does go out of action with a full recovery result at the end of it, so because he's perfectly fine. However, he just no longer participates in the rest of the scenario. At the same time, the Liberator does manage to put a knockdown result directly onto Kairos, so Kairos is currently facing on the ground bleeding out, which is a very precarious situation for him to be in. However, it's not that bad though, because this takes directly to the next turn, which belongs to the Beastmen. So with that, we go directly to the bottom of turn number 2 for the Beastmen Raiders, and first of all, Kairos, he managed to get back on his feet again because he managed to, get back from the stun result. So with the recovery phase over with, we go directly to the movement phase. And in the movement phase, we go directly to, as you can see here, just a lot of charging going on for the most part. Lady Down decides just to fully commit at this point. First thing she does, she actually sends in shanked, goes directly into the prosecutors located in the bottom of the screen. At the same time, the liberator, sorry, who's at the bottom of the screen. At the same time, the prosecutor also gets flanked in the back by, I believe, his Cleft Jaw, as well as the Bestigor Godan Blood Eye, I believe that's that guy's name. They both go directly into him, engaging him in close combat as well. At the same time, the Retributor also gets charged at by 3 other fighters as well. We get charged up by Viral Heart Eater, as well as Sean the Head Claimer, as well as Cleft Jaw. They go directly into the back of the Retributor as well. Now, Thedra Skullsquire, the Shaman, she just kind of moves up with her double moon allowance right behind the Liberator, so that way she can get you into a pincer attack if she needs to as well. And that pretty much makes the move phase for Lady Domina. So here's a close-up of the move phase. As you can see, the entirety of the Brothers of Sigmar being swarmed right now by the members of the Untamed Beasts, and everyone's going at least 2-to-1 odds in the combat, so that's going to be absolutely terrifying to see that happen. And the same thing happens here in the bottom of the screen with the Ungor Raider, as well as Thedra Skullsquire moving in for the kill as well. Now, during the shooting phase, Thedra Skullsquire did try to cast Lord of Chaos, but unfortunately, she failed her test, so that pretty much skips the shooting phase, and with that, we go directly to combat. And during the combat phase, it was all said and done, a bunch of stun results actually went off for the most part. I believe the Prosecutor as well as the Retributor, they fall to their back as they get pushed over for the most part, but other than that, though, combat was pretty much ineffective up here on the top. And down below, Shank does get put out of action by the Liberator as well, so because of that, he goes into full recovery as well. He does go out of action, but him as well as Kairos, they both make full recoveries, so no harm, no foul there. So with that, we go directly to the top of number 3 for the Brothers of Sigmar, and once again, the Liberator as well as, the Prosecutor as well as the Retributor, they get back on their feet again because they're perfectly fine for the recovery phase. So the recovery phase over with, we go directly to the movement phase. And in the move phase, both the Prosecutor and the Retributor are already engaged in close combat. However, the Liberator, though, he charges directly into Thedra Skullsquire and catches her in close combat as well. So with the move phase over with, we skip shooting because everyone's engaged in close combat, and we go directly to the combat phase. So in the combat phase, unfortunately, the Liberator gets knocked down, gets put out of action as well. Also makes a full recovery though, so no harm, no foul there. However, half of my friend Sister Cyril's Warband is currently out of action right now, which is a really bad spot to be in. Meanwhile, the fight between the Prosecutor and Thedra Skullsquire went pretty well. The Prosecutor did manage to put a stun result directly onto Thedra Skullsquire, so she's laying on the ground face up, but, you know, a little too late at this point. And sadly, the Retributor also gets put out of action as well, with a full recovery result being rolled up for him for his injuries as well. And that pretty much ends up the turn on this one. At this point in the game, that Sister Cyril decides to call the game just because she only has one fighter left, and there's no way in heck she's going to be able to pull off the scenario, so she concedes the game, bringing a victory, the very first victory, for the Beastmen Raiders of the Untamed Beasts. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go directly to the post-game because this battle report is now officially over.
Man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Alright, now it's time to talk about the post-game. So starting off, the Lords of Azure Skies. 3 members of this warband were injured, which the Lord Relictor, the Lord Retributor, as well as the Liberator. All 3 of those guys made full recoveries, so no harm, no foul at this point. For advancements, none of the members of the warband advanced at this time, and during the exploration phase, they managed to find 2 pieces of treasure while scavenging in the wilderness of the Empire. With those 2 pieces of treasure, they managed to sell them for 55 gold pieces, and with their 55 gold pieces, they recruited 2 Vanguard Hunters. They're 2 basically novices, they're called the Vanguard Hunters. They're equipped with hammers, slings, as well as bucklers, and they took the 5 remaining gold pieces they had, and they put it directly into their treasury. Their new record now is at 0 wins and 1 loss, and the new warband rating now is at 80 points. So from there, we go directly to the Untamed Beasts. For the injuries, 2 members of this warband were injured, which was Ugla the Maw as well as Kairos and Shanked. All 3 of those guys made full recovery, so no harm, no foul there as well. For advancements, Sean Headclaimer, he actually got promoted up to leveled up as well. He got that Shaggy Hide skill, which means now he can use great weapons one-handed. So now he's super strong, and he can also use 2 weapons now at the same time, what makes him extremely deadly. During the exploration phase, they found 2 pieces of treasure, and they found an abandoned farmhouse, which also gave him an additional 2 gold pieces. At the trading post, they managed to sell their treasure as well as their gold pieces for 50 gold pieces, bringing it to 52 gold pieces in total. And with those 52 gold pieces, they purchased shields for Gradan, Shand, Ugla the Maw, Cleft Skull, Cleft Jawed, Kairos, as well as Shanked. They also purchased short bows for both Kairos as well as Shanked, giving them rage attacks. They then took the remaining 7 gold pieces they left over and placed that directly in the treasury. Their new record now is at 1 win and 0 losses, and the new warband rating now is at 112 points. So there you have it, guys. That ends up the very fast battle report for round number 1 of our Empire in Flames campaign. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. You guys' input is invaluable to us as always. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com for all the latest greatest hobby news related to this channel. I'll see you guys in the next one. You guys stay classy. Peace out, and see you guys later.